Good evening, brothers and sisters. This is Dr. Makemba. Once again, we are back with you on this platform. We are doing our Wonders of Wisdom series. Today, I'll still be talking on the subject matter entitled leadership. I'll be going a bit deeper into looking at some aspects concerning leadership. Basically, what I want to highlight today concerning leadership is that leadership itself is born when a person discovers a truth about themselves. And of course, when that individual believes that truth about themselves and then they commit to becoming that truth, then a leader is discovered. Then that individual becomes a leader. Of course, it is against this background that I submit to you that leadership is not and cannot be taught from a classroom. However, education is very key. It helps us to become eloquent, articulate. It also helps us to package ourselves better. But it does not make us leaders. For one to become a true leader, you need to discover that passion that you have inside about yourself. And you need to grow with that passion. And often this passion develops the kind of attitude that you carry yourself with as a leader. And this attitude is basically a collection of belief systems emanating from the conviction that you have about yourself and your abilities. That is basically what makes you a leader. And of course, today I just want us to look at some fast facts about leadership that one needs to basically bear in mind if you truly want to develop your leadership skill and become an effective leader. Number one, you need to understand that you don't need a title to be a leader. I think a lot of people hide behind titles in order to cover up for their lack of skills in leadership. And of course, what happens is when people put titles on themselves, then they walk around with a sense of entitlement. And instead of leading, they end up ordering people around. And ordering people around does not make you a leader. It just simply, make you an individual that occupies a position. Of course, a leader needs to be an individual that adds value to people or to a group that he is leading. As a leader, you need to add value. So leadership is in value addition, not value depreciation. And it's also very important to understand that as a leader, you need to understand that criticism is part of the journey. Criticism is a silent companion of every true leader. If you do not want to be criticized as a leader, then the best is to go sell ice cream and make everybody happy. If you really want to lead and make a difference in your generation, in your time, you need to understand that you will be criticized. No matter how good you are, no matter what you do, there will always be individuals that will find fault with you. It's part of the package. You cannot run away from it. So the best to do is to use that and harness all the energy you need from that and grow yourself a leader and continue to lead anyway. So you do not stop leading because somebody is critical of you. You do not stop leading because somebody misunderstands you. To be misunderstood is part of the package, And of course, you need to understand that everybody will only understand you from their point of view. So if you are speaking to a small-minded person, they might not get what you're trying to talk about. If you dream big, for instance, because their mind cannot comprehend your vision. So as a leader, you also need to understand the critics that comes your way. There are some critics that are not worth listening to because these are individuals that are below you. So they can't really offer anything better because you probably know better than they do. And of course, you might also have those that criticize you, those that are at the same level with you, that might have the same understanding or ability that you have. Those kind of criticism, those are the ones that help you grow. Then of course you have those that are above you. Those kind are the ones that of course pull you up to their level. So if somebody has done better, they've achieved more than you did, and now they are watching over you, maybe they are your mentor, and they are trying to help you improve in one area or another. That kind of critics is very constructive. Why? Because it can only help you become a better person. The mistake that people often make is you get criticized by a person that has nothing to show for their own life, and then you become discouraged. Now that will work against you because this person is basically criticizing you either for two things: or they are envious or jealous of you, or number two, they wish they were you but they cannot be you, so the only thing they can do is to criticize you. So you need to be able to demarcate the different. You need to be able to understand, the background from which the critic is coming from, and use it constructively to grow yourself. So, but bear in mind that being criticized is part and parcel of the journey as a leader. So, okay, of course, now looking at a leader is an individual that actually live for a cause greater than themselves. To be effective as a leader, you need to set your mind on a purpose that will outlive you. And never ever enter a place of leadership or attempt to lead in order to become popular, to be liked, to be recognized, or to be praised. If you ever attempt leadership on these platforms based on these things that I've just mentioned now, it will destroy you. Because great leaders of our times and of generations that have gone before us were people that were oftentimes criticized for their conviction. But because they knew where they were headed, they actually kept pushing until they see what they believe come to pass. And oftentimes their critics only sees what they really are in retrospect, when what they believed have now come to pass, or they've now achieved their dreams, or they've now established what they were working hard to establish. Then the critic sees what has been achieved, and he realizes that in fact what he thought was before the achievement is not really what it is. So to be criticized has nothing to do with you giving up your dreams. You must just stand in there, keep going. I mean, it's part of the journey. Any great leader you know of has been and will be criticized, whether they do the right thing or they do the wrong thing. They will always be criticized. And I wanted us to dwell on organizational leadership for now. Now, as a leader, if you are leading any organization, it can be a corporation, it can be an international company, it can be a church, it can be any form of organization, it can be a nation. You need to understand the abilities, the skills, the character, and the personality of the people that you are working with. And if you can understand that and assign people responsibilities based on their personality, what they like and what they don't like, you are probably going to be running an effective organization, more than just placing people in positions simply to occupy a position and to push an agenda. Let me give you an example. For instance, you are running a corporation where you got a reception area where people need to walk in and greet and need to be served into different kinds of departments. Now, certain people generally don't just smile. They look a bit bitter or sour on their faces. Even if you make a joke, they just don't smile. It's not in their personality. Now, you are probably doing your company a disservice to take somebody with that personality and make them the front of your company. You understand what I'm trying to say? Because your clients will enter your place and they are of course expecting to be welcomed by a friendly face. Now, if this person has no character to smile, probably is not best suited to sit at the front. Maybe you could assign them a responsibility somewhere else where they do not necessarily have to be in people's faces all the time. That's basically what I'm trying to say about recognizing people's ability, and then of course assigning them responsibilities accordingly. All right, now as a leader, you need to understand that you need to develop a vision, and of course sometimes life is about giving it all for a vision that nobody else can see but you. Developing a vision can be very tough. And of course, getting people to believe in your vision can be very tough. But as a leader, you need to understand that once you have a vision that you know that this is what you want to accomplish, you need to stand your ground. At times, you might feel lonely, you might feel excluded from the mainstream, setup. You might not fit in with everybody. Basically, that's what it takes to be a leader. You know, as a leader, you will come to that place where you'll be questioning your own sanity. You know, you will be misunderstood. You know, as a leader, you might not have as many friends. You might not fit in all the cycles of the people that you have around you. But that's what it takes to be a leader. You know, so in a nutshell, what I'm trying to say basically is that, you know, leadership is more than just occupying a position. Leadership is more than just having a title. Leadership is more than really, you know, having people clapping hands for you. In fact, as a leader, you need to be prepared to be stoned more than anything else. You know, any other leader that has lived before our time have done it. Many have been misunderstood. Many have died actually for their visions. You know, men like Martin Luther. You know, he believed in a vision that he has never really lived to see, but some of the stuff and the things he stood by and the belief system he held then in the 60s are now unfolding in the 21st century. So there were people that did not see what he saw then, but he kept pushing the ideologies even though he did not live to see them come to pass. Why? Because that's what it takes to be a leader. A leader is an individual that, you know, have a conviction, and they lock themselves up in the prison of their own conviction and they throw away the keys. Meaning that if you want to be a true leader, and if you want to effect change, if you want to transform your society, you need to come to that place in your life where you tell yourself that even if I have to run this race by myself, because this is what I'm convicted of, and this is what I want to see unfolding in my generation, I am going to stand by my conviction, you know, until I see it come to pass. You know, so that is very important key ingredient in being a leader. And of course, as a leader, you need to develop yourself. You need to develop your vision. You need to, you know, inform yourself. You need to study. You know, if your conviction is to transform society in a particular area, it will be tantamount to disaster to attempt to do that without arming yourself first, without acquiring the necessary skills, knowledge that would have you succeed in that area. So what you need to do as a leader, you need to study that particular area that you want to influence society on. You need to acquire all the skills. You need to do your background check. You need to do a feasibility study. You need to understand who are the people that will help you realize your vision and your dream. And of course, when you recruit people to run that race with you, you also need to appreciate people. You know, as a leader, when now you have established your vision and you have people that are working with you in helping you see your vision come to pass, understand that it's very important not to abuse your position as a leader. It's very important to appreciate people and value people that are working with you in helping you see your dream come to pass. Because we are not an island. No matter how much of a strong character or a strong-willed leader you are, you cannot really accomplish much by yourself. You know, you cannot work in isolation. You know, you need to have people skills. You need to be patient with people, because you might have also great people that bring great value in your organization or in helping you achieve your dreams, but they might need a little bit of polishing up from time to time. So when you have such people, you need to love people so much so that you should be willing sometimes to overlook their areas of shortcomings and concentrate on their areas of strength. And of course, help them, you know, work on their strength, you know, because in every leader, for that matter, there is weaknesses. But the difference is that whether a leader makes it or not make it, it's a function of, you know, whether he spends more time focusing on, you know, strengthening his strength or strengthening his weaknesses. If you strengthen your weaknesses by concentrating on areas that you are always falling short in, then what happens is that you probably end up, you know, a self-critic. You know, every time you look at yourself in the mirror, you think you cannot match up because, you know, you have weaknesses in such and such an area. And that will not help you much as a leader. So as a leader, you need to recognize that you are simply just human and there's nothing you can do about it. There will be areas that you are not, you know, going to function effectively like other people. So the idea for you is to concentrate on what you are really good at. And of course, you know, build on that, you know. And of course, as you do that, what tends to happen normally is that, you know, weaknesses just, you know, simply disappear in thin air. as you build on your strength, and of course you just, work with your strength in accomplishing that which you have set your mind to do. I trust that this has been a blessing to you, and we are looking forward to talking to you very soon. Thank you very much.